Hello everyone and welcome back to Vida Fútbol. My name is Laureano and I am a UEFA B licensed coach from California, currently living and coaching in Germany. In this video, we're going to talk about the defensive weaknesses of the 4-3-3 formation and its defensive formation variations, including the 4-5-1, 4-4-2, 4-3-2-1, and 5-4-1. So first, we're going to discuss some general weaknesses of the formation defensively, and then we are going to divide the video into two parts. In the first part, we're going to look at the weaknesses when the team is organized, and in the second part, we will look at the weaknesses when the team is disorganized, i.e. in transition. This video is for two groups in particular: teams, players, coaches using the 4-3-3 formation, or teams, players, coaches playing against the 4-3-3 formation. The ideas here can either help you develop a strategy to improve on the weaknesses of the formation, or the ideas here can help you develop a strategy to attack and exploit the formation's weaknesses. Now let's take a look at some of the general defensive weaknesses of this formation. First, there are two offensive midfielders and only one defensive midfielder. So there is often only 5 defensive-minded field players at any given point. Second, this formation is often used by teams who want to possess the ball and be aggressive on the attack. This type of mentality often requires the team to be high up, leaving a lot of space between the goal and the back line. And third, for this formation to be effective, it requires a minimum of 3 high-quality and very fit midfielders to meet the high demands. And of course, you would need more midfield players to substitute should any of the 3 starters get fatigued. The high demand begins to take a toll at the end of the first half and towards the end of the game. Lastly, the fullback is another high demanding position because this formation does not have outside midfielders. So the fullbacks must cover a lot of ground in order to be part of the attack. One of the strengths of the 4-3-3 is that it is very flexible and it can easily be adapted into a different formation. That being said, we're going to take a look at the weaknesses of the 4-3-3 when it is defensively organized in a different formation. The natural setup of this formation makes it suitable for a high press, as this formation already has 3 forwards up the pitch. The high press unfortunately leaves the wings open. This space can be used to play a long ball over the back line. As I mentioned earlier, the 4-3-3's aggressive approach may lead to space between the goal and the back line. This often leaves teams vulnerable to a long ball behind the back line if the team does not manage to regain possession during a high press. So here's one example if the high press is not quick enough to regain possession. So the center back plays it to the left back and the left back plays a long ball directly to the number 9 behind the back line. So here we have another example in which the left back gets the ball once again, but in this situation the right back steps up to try to cover the space that was exploited earlier. Now that is a risk because by doing that they leave the left winger open and with a clear path undefended towards goal. So should that winger get the ball, either they dribble towards goal or they play a ball behind the back line again to the striker. On its face, the 4-5-1 should be difficult to get past, especially the second line of defense. We must consider that we are asking 2 attack-minded players to defend. This gives opponents more confidence to further attack the wing. That being said, it is important that players are disciplined and can suppress their need to press high and rather focus on the team strategy. When playing against a 4-5-1, it is important to consider that mistakes against attack-minded players may be costly. That being said, the wings remain weak as we are asking attack-minded players to defend. Furthermore, mistakes on the outside may lead to crosses into the penalty area. The 4-4-2 is perhaps the strongest way to defend for the 4-3-3. This defensive setup allows the forwards to alternate with one another between defending in the first and second lines of defense. The distribution of the 4-4-2 weakens the center of the pitch as it reduces the number of midfield players from 3 down to 2. This move could be costly, especially playing against teams that have 3 midfield players. For example, playing against a team that is playing in a 4-2-3-1 formation. If the team is well organized in the 4-4-2, then my recommendation would be to attack the side that has the 2 offensive players, as they are more likely to make a defensive mistake. The 4-3-2-1 is another strong defensive formation for the 4-3-3 because it psychologically tells the 2 wingers that they are defending, but they are in position to attack. So, the incentive of defending well is the possibility of creating a scoring opportunity should they get the ball back. Knowing that, teams playing against this defensive setup need to try and exploit the spaces and work on getting the forwards out of position. This would allow to further exploit the open spaces on the wings or in the space in between the forwards. The 5-4-1 would be the most defensive version of this formation. This would typically be used towards the end of the first half or the end of the game to defend a score. A team using this defensive positioning is no longer using the attack as a strength, rather defending and looking to add to the scoreboard by way of counterattack. Thus, baiting a team to attack in the 5-4-1 can be used to open up space and also to try scoring by way of counterattack. One of the greatest weaknesses in this formation is that the entire second line of defense is made up of attacking players, especially if this is a formation that is being used at the end of the first half. In the second half, it is possible that substitutes come in that are more defensive minded. Next, we're going to take a look at a few disorganized situations. This is when a team is in transition after a loss of possession. If we take a look at this example, the defensive midfielder tries to play a ball to the offensive midfielder, but it gets intercepted by the number 6 of the opponents. In this situation, because of the attack being on the left side, there is a gap left open. The number 9 checks in this case freeing up even more space for the number 10 to run and receive a pass from the number 6. In the 4-3-3 formation, during the attacking phase, I would consider a ball lost by either one of the center backs or by the defensive midfielder to be the most costly, simply due to the lack of support during the attacking phase. Due to the many possible scenarios in a football match, I can't possibly show you all, but what I can say is that the weakness is often determined by the player who lost the ball and by the location of where the ball was lost. In my opinion, the greatest weakness for the 4-3-3 in disorganized situations is the vulnerability of the center back. They are often left to fend for themselves during the attacking phase. In conclusion, the 4-3-3 formation is very attack-minded. Defensively, it is very flexible and can be easily adapted into a different formation. Unfortunately, its aggressive approach ends up being its greatest weakness. So that is it for this video. If you learned something new, if you can now strategize to play against the 4-3-3 or to play with the 4-3-3 and improve on the weaknesses, click that like button and subscribe to my channel. I am currently trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate it if you guys subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you get notified every time I come out with a new video. If you're a football coach and you're seeking to improve your coaching skills, then visit the Coach's Voice Academy. I put a link in the description section. If you punch in the code BUDDY10, then you get 10 pounds off an annual subscription. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.